I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the
Hello,
situation
xin chào mọi
has
người,
changed
chào mừng
again.
mọi người trên channel của mình. Mình là Gloless và hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục với hành trình Genshin Bắc. Và hôm nay mình sẽ chọn một cốt truyện mà với nhân vật mình vừa đối với đó sẽ là Dehya. Siêu từ đó. Here we go. Here we go. That's the shit. Oh wait a minute.
Đúng không đó, bỏ bắp như là cũng có ai.
Kìa, cái gì? Nhầm. Jangan. Cái là clean để bạn. Cốt truyện của chị Đại. Còn thử tải 10 GB á. Ai đây không khác. Không biết là đỡ nhập rồi. Giờ sự đỡ tiếng Anh nè. Thường mình thấy tiếng Anh thì phải có dòng ly thôi, mà này không có dòng ly thôi. Bazaar.
I was trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some.
Paimon hành.
We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
So you two are still hanging out together. Dehya, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Homayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
Rồi, nhìn tôi kìa. Nhìn heo kìa. Ôi dồi.
I told Dehya to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dehya wasn't around.
Family.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was going to head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dehya. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
What? She said they'll treat you to the best dishes. I can't believe you can still refuse that.
But wait, didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
And the time before that too.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time. And I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like I feel like something is off about you lately. Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Nhà phụ nữ à?
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
Bây giờ rồi lục kìa.
Did you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Looks like Junior's was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble. Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme.
Xin lỗi.
Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly the best place for a discussion. Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention. As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave.
Nhưng mà làm gì thì tốt bụng đó.
However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's Relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar.
Đã
The
cấp.
Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dehya al-Akmar.
Dakan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue is that Dehya al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety.
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them. Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's Relic sees it. All I do know is that Dehya al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years.
Thằng bé của họ thôi mà.
If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your...
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he wouldn't cross.
That's setting the bar pretty low.
Đánh giá không được cao lắm.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she...
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dehya.
Mày hả?
It's all right, my lady. It's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person. He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or
Sounds like your typical fairy tale.
more or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but
Okay.
after about 20 repeats,
Chắc như
I
là
started to
mình
get a
họ ai
little
vậy.
dull.
Mình họ hay kể chuyện mà mình họ không nhớ nhiều lắm. Cho nên kể đi kể lại mấy chục lần. Đó.
He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play. Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish. That was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him. Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them. No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings. The different...
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me. Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to...
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
Đây rồi.
What should we do? They both have valid.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught.
Well, she's super tough, so if she went into the desert with you,
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you... I'll wait for news from you in the city until then.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady.
Ngó cái eo kìa.
All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Rebot, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
Mình móc cái tủ. Cái này không biết được thằng mẹ của Dehya lại không? Chi cách ngàn mấy rồi đây.
Chấp bị được không? Anh có bị chấp bị được một cái video kìa.
Đập chân.
Hey, Dehya, you're back.
Dehya.
Are these two friends of yours?
Dehya.
Likewise. There's no need to be so formal with us. Anyway, since we've got a newcomer, let me fill you in on what the Khan al-Akhmar's been up to. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets. They even attack other relics brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. And it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profit is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora. A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange. Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an internal power
Civil
struggle.
War. Civil
Wait,
War.
a power struggle?
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Deshret's relic. If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only plausible explanation. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps. Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as the Khan al-Ahmar became more and more active,
It sounds mighty strange to me, too. Haroon, you can leave the rest of the investigation. Gotta say, though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were really putting your necks on the line, no?
nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Khan al-Ahmar is your father's crew, after all.
What he said. Besides, Dehya.
Yeah. And while they went to talk with Khan al-Ahmar, I took a look at the last camp they attacked. Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
Hisham and Khalaf. You're here,
Cái
too.
tay khó đọc không?
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Rebat. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears, I'm sensing a special vibe from her. Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with you, we can also rest easy.
Hey, what about Papa?
Oh, you're also planning to tag along with them?
Of course! Paimon is a traveler.
Oh, in that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dehya.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the traveler here. Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by appearances.
Oh, one other thing, Dehya. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Main. You weren't around at the time, so people were pretty disappointed to only find our crew of rough, unkempt guys. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time.
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of... The awkward silence and weird expressions left quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after that, they both told me they were too uncomfortable to stick around.
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Anh trai gắt gái.
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that, and you weren't even gonna tell me?
All right.
Ai được
We
chứ?
can tell you about...
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right now.
Rồi các bạn không kìa.
Are they always like this?
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercy. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at him. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge him to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously. Being direct and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it. That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homiyanis. Hey, knuckleheads! Can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your...
Yeah, you hear her, Holloff? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to everyone else in the brigade as well.
Will do. You stay safe.
Cái chặng đường á, chị nghĩ gì?
This should be the place. It's gonna come down to a fight one way or another.
No need to worry.
I'm not worried about that. What I meant is that we probably shouldn't go too hard on the enemy. After all, we still need to get information
Chị
out
ơi.
of them.
Trời ơi,
Here they come. You ready? Let's not give them a chance to react. And
That's close enough.
gotcha.
You're the Flame Bane.
Good. That saves me an introduction.
You know the code of being a mercenary.
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes. You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you. I'm not joking around. Wait 2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies. I definitely didn't expect him to go that far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep, and he just passed out from the pain. I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again. There are lots of goods around here. I'm really sorry.
Rồi lại ngọc ấy, thì phần gì face.
Em để nguyên bao mì tôm thằng kia kìa, chị hôm nay chị tới chị lấy thoải mái luôn.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it.
Let me take a look. If this... yep, I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will that person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction? Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora. But the final one, where they... perhaps. But they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shahzaman Homayani?
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family?
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shahzaman Homayani is Dunyarzad's father,
Oh no.
and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here? I'm sorry, you're right. I'll consider, but what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dekhan al-Akmar.
Oh no. Plot tiếc rồi.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dekhan al-Akmar?
That's a possibility, but if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shahzaman as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Ribat or Port Ormos. Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot. I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious.
Interesting.
The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past, but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the master would stoop so low to make Mora. You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like that.
What should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to... I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homayanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her, if we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dekhan al-Akmar.
Dehya, are you sure this is the best decision?
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True friendship is built on trust. She showed genuine concern. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust.
Yeah. Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Giờ tí nha.
Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
Em nói sao đấy đi? Em nói sao? Đưa tiền đấy. Ngày xưa anh Quốc người hơn em nữa.
Uống cà phê dạ.
Bằng luôn đấy.
Em quá. Muốn phải để uống. Đó, mà anh cài đó.
Quốc nhỏ là mấy đứa, anh Quốc nhỏ là mấy đứa, nhỏ xíu luôn.
Đây rồi.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected.
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here.
Something like that. Yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up.
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much...
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically... On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, Dunyarzad, we're back!
Shit. Sao mà hiểu lỗi vậy?
What happened?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell.
The master. Okay, I understand. But don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can. My father has been supplying goods to Dekhan al-Akmar.
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh?
Thank you for sharing all this information. Since you've told me everything you know, in the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me, so... However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dehya?
About that. Well, the Homiyanis really meet later. The master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. It just...
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe I think I get what you're saying. You think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seemed strange or out of place. If my father had always been in contact with the Khan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dehya into our house.
Vậy. Ôi
You
chà.
mean the goal all along was to get Dehya to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life with...
So, the master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call... However, the Homiyani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homiyani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dehya.
It's all right, Dehya. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who's...
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Rồi, mát đẹp này.
Hey, it's still too early to give up hope. What was the thing about friendship? Right, yeah, trust. You said that yourself, Dehya.
Ok. Em không đúng tin lắm.
There's no point in getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts.
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. In which case, my lady?
Sure thing. I also...
Usual?
Chú muốn ăn. Chắc vậy. Bên nó sắp. Hold on. Where is place?
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the trip.
Yes, my daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person, but we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something...
So, that's what you found? Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dehya, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes, I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you, the facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting...
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on
Lại
that.
sắp có bữa kìa. Nhiều ta ra thế.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. All seemed lost. A group of passerby Eremites lent us this. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition.
Okay.
He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particular... But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know about... I was completely lost at first. Until he recommended the blazing beasts. And in particular...
So he was the one who recommended Dehya to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious... If Dehya could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Lost tuyệt vời.
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dehya as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and I all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dehya's fees. I refused to take any more from him, but he'd always send me funds anyway.
Okay.
Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait!
Oh shit.
Isn't that around the time that Dekan al-Ahmar started...
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became aware. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had that thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down... I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could... In the end, it probably was the wrong decision.
If you can, please tell me where he is. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep... If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world.
No, Dehya,
bảo vệ tôi. Ôi ôi.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. Another way? I don't know. I knew him and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand what's going through his head. But I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
Chờ mình tí.
Bảo anh là em đũa không chơi nam cha đi. Chơi mở rình hay thơ lũ. Nửa năm mình chưa chơi. Kêu là nửa năm chưa chơi là nhắm mắt nghe rồi. Ra xong rồi thi trong này là mở rình đánh gì mà vừa ra thì chơi. Đồ đó hả?
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone.
Đây là một cái chuyện đầy cảm động. Không nhầm, đầy cảm động.
I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now he's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dakan al-Akhmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir.
I'll stay and be with my father here. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this. I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the core of 30.
Yes. I am prepared. It's time to face.
Cái này, chú à.
Các bạn móc lốt rồi. Tim Thánh là cái tim đặc biệt móc lốt mà để vào trường trường. Không bao giờ đi. Ok. Đi anh đừng lại. Vì bắt được 3 lần.
Uống rượu bằng cái ly này trông lạ quá. Mà chắc là ly rượu không?
Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps.
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you not come with me? We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere.
Okay.
This place should do. Alright, back to my question. How did you all...
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once...
Wait. There's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out.
So what's in it for you anyway?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time. Kusela took good care of me in the past. I weighed it in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakan al-Akhmar. If you provide some help for us, then we might just...
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen.
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me late. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you though, It's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap?
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for
Rồi,
you,
đi tờ giá.
try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the
Đường còn 30 à. Ồ, kiểu như là với đánh thuê coi cái chính quy với lại không chính quy. Maybe that's hard work.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Dear, why are you here?
Nói chuyện này lạ quá.
Busted. To ashes! Let's get it on! Take that! Haven't you all done enough?
So you also need to stop us.
Stay out of this. It's got nothing to do with you.
Bon đập lâu ghê á. Ui.
Busted.
Quietly now.
She's so strong.
Enough fighting. We all know each other. Just bring Kusela to me. Did you understand a single word I just...
All right, everyone. Let's all just calm down for a second. Dehya. The boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time ago.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Ahmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Let me start from the beginning. Dehya, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They call it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's Relics were forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the record served both as that's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dehya and ended up joining our rank. But you, Dehya, you were never...
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's Relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules.
What is that?
Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
Oh shit.
So, even the blazing beat...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged...
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need. His words made no sense to me. But that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of the Khan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that Boss started was quite a blow to headquarters strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack, even though we're outnumbered. We vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled, but we won't let any of them escape our wrath.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we needed all we can do is exchange our loot for Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain till Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker. And now, we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his... Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out. As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence.
I'm gonna cry, fuck now.
But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end.
Ôi trời. I didn't expect the story becomes great.
I'm sorry, Dehya. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young.
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah, Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Xa đấy.
Này 6 video thôi.
Khoan, mình quên mất là mình đã đánh binh thịnh mà. Nên ra.
Wow, nhiều người đi sướng sợ.
Is this the entrance? We sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Những ngày vinh quang đã mất.
Trainee Forest Ranger calling. Reporting.
Lắp đồ cho cô đây.
Rồi xong. Chạy này. Chạy này. Anh tưởng có sự kiện là lúc ở trong đây nó hiện luôn sự kiện. Ở ngoài kia nó mới hiện đúng không? Đúng rồi. Ở dưới nó có hai cái sự kiện rồi sao? Hả? Cây có hai sự kiện. Ngoài kia nó biết cái đi cho nó. Mình lắp cái nào là nó kiện như đấy.
Ủa như vậy vậy bạn. Cái này ôi phụ HP à?
Xong bữa nào khi bắt anh chị nghe tiếng Shopee ở
Vai nồi à. Cái đó mà ra bắt nữa là thôi luôn.
Thế chứ báo thức có bắt đấy.
Ở đây Shopee nó khác chứ.
Ba nhà loại người ta
cái đồ cái vừa xấu vừa đẹp ấy.
I can't wait any longer.
What the fuck now?
Hay quá. Mày hai. Rồi luôn.
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this.
They should all be holed up in here.
Who cares? Well,
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot.
yeah. We'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits off. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with it.
Happy to oblige.
You are not
Take this off the sun.
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over.
bắt luôn một tiếng đi kìa.
Đây vài cái tấm thắt. Nạp vào đâu.
Bust it. Take it easy. Here comes the catch.
Let's get it on!
Feeling lucky today.
You're dead meat!
Dễ, xem ở đấy. Okay.
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Ôi.
Wait! They were charging ahead without checking for any traps.
Nào xong, Cúc.
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got...
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this,
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. There could still be another way through. Let's go! We can't let the boss stay.
Let's check if there's another way. The sooner we can make it.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked.
Okay, let's.
Mà chơi qua phải có giải đố nữa. Một đĩa. Mày chơi.
35 phút rồi. Được cái lời.
Vậy.
Quietly now.
Buckle up! Cha! Ha!
Gotcha.
Cái play cái được.
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Mấy em coi này có cái gì gọi là khó trong người không? Bắt đầu nhưng mà
Ok.
này gì màu đỏ không?
Vậy rồi, thì ra nghĩ ra cái thế này nè.
Game's up. Fun is over.
You asked for it! Look alive! Let's get it on! Hi!
Right, Pam, into the fire.
What a drag.
You're dead meat! Look alive!
Rồi.
Busted. Here comes the catch.
Nice and spicy.
Go.
Take it easy.
Là What?
Ai chưa vào luôn? Em còn vào em đủ em nào còn
Đỡ 1 tháng rồi. Ôi trời ơi, rồi. Bạn là 2 đi thành là 3. Cái tình trạng này chắc phải chưa để lên.
ý là tao hỏi là em có mở.
Cái Okay, that was easy. Enough.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the up, but as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our foes defying.
Don't waste your breath. You have...
Run. Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already.
Nghe giọng như 16 ấy.
I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin. Even now, my brother greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a
Let us draw our weapons. We will show that they are but two. Charge! Eliminate them!
Quiet.
Out of the fry pan. Pull it Emma.
I'll be back. Don't. You just getting started.
Try this on for son.
Game's up.
You asked for it.
King Deshret will not abandon any one of his followers.
Patience.
Wait! Brothers! With me. This is where we prove our faith.
You all just want to die?
None of us will leave this place alive! Sacrifice is ready.
Em vô trong tim rồi. Chị biết là mỗi lần chị tới không á mấy.
The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming
Vô trong
at
tim
us.
lắm rồi. Chị cứ ngồi ra rồi.
They
Vô trong
just
tim.
keep coming no matter.
Yes, keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last step!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Get out of my way!
Giờ mới tới á.
Come and face me, Michel! So they've broken through the front as well. Apologies, Lord Michel.
Cứ vậy thôi.
So, it would seem like this is the end.
Time to pay for everything you've done.
You think that I will be buried in the sand alongside all the rest of our fading glory?
Anh kìa, cho tôi thấy à.
Hey, wait!
Vui á, mà vui chơi đéo là được ấy. Nói chung là cảm xúc con người là phải tầm 6 tháng đến 8 tháng thì nó mới vơi được một chuyện gì đó.
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called
Đúng.
Sát thủ sa mạc. Sát thủ sa mạc.
Hey, Dehya! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Nghe cười vậy? Vui vậy nè.
Thì ông ngày mai lại khóc như chó ấy.
Let's go.
Em đừng chạy.
Đừng có người thì nói khóc như chó ai biết.
Như vậy rồi.
Đừng coi ngày mai
Take it
khóc như
easy.
chó không.
Mà cái pháo tự.
Chẳng phải không có chó này chứ.
Ôi. Đúng một viên nào chết rồi. Tính ra là từ hồi 15 tuổi tới giờ. Thấy con ngủ quá.
Quên nó hả? Nhưng mà đâu Bằng ai vào đâu? Bằng ai đâu?
Ê kìa, cái tòi quá.
Ngày xưa anh Quốc thích làm để sao hình đấy mày chưa?
Ôi, chết rồi ơi. Kêu thôi. Vui vã, vui. Nghe nói anh Quốc là thanh toán thằng mua ở Trung Quốc mà.
Hả? Làm rể mà là anh Quốc có người yêu ở dưới đấy chứ sao mà.
Không máy. Máy cây nha.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infantry?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? Hey, have you ever heard of a man? Why would I?
This is your last.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room?
It's right over there. All the files are in there.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean Kusela? Ah, yeah, I remember. Watch your mouth. That's our. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't. And after that, Deshret's relatives.
Stop wasting our time. Tell me.
It's just over there. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever serve Bashar. Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try it.
Trời ơi, 7 năm một tình để chưa nói chuyện.
Bây giờ xài take what happening here. I am your father.
11 năm rồi. 11 năm rồi.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all. If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been. I'm sorry. I know it's.
Kusela.
Ồ, sao nguyên trái như thế mà nguyên còn thế này vậy?
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more.
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Con trai, con gái gì cũng đều thiệt thòi hết á. Con nào cũng là con. Con gái,
Yêu yêu thôi sang phải lắm.
mẹ ơi, đây.
Thought so.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
The dragon is no
Ồ,
more.
cái nào nhỏ?
Princess Dehya has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Your bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dehya, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dehya, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
Vấn đề là thứ hai sao là có ai ăn không? Biết giúp tiền đu. Hỏi đó mày ra.
Thứ hai thì nhau.
Má giờ chẳng lẽ đi gõ từng bàn kêu lên không?
Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
Ý là vấn đề là chưa có ai trả lời luôn mà nó thấy à. Béo phì nữa, béo nữa. Ba người luôn chứ mấy.
What's this?
Kêu rồi.
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy. Hey, come on! Anyway, the point is that Junior's dad will also be...
Aw, thanks you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back. So, you know, my chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace. And I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me. Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different?
Em không xấu, em đẹp mà.
Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth, and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites, all of us. Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often...
You're back! Are all of you all right?
Ah, there she is!
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. Huh?
Paimon will explain.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
Dehya, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to...
Hey, don't worry about me. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play.
Đầu tiên mình kết thúc, cảm ơn các bạn đã xem. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở video tiếp theo. Mình sẽ tắt video làm 5 video nha.